So the title of this video is a question that we're going to answer. Going to answer whether it's bad that love is naive. But first we need to take a bit of a detour and lay some groundwork as to why I think that it's not bad that it's naive. Spoilers. So first we're going to have to take a look at queerness as a particular form of love. Right? So what does it mean to be queer? Well, I would contend that accepting yourself and identifying yourself as queer is a radical act of self-love. It's acceptance of the messy, imperfect human you that isn't neat and tidy and doesn't quite nicely fit into any one box. And that's powerful, in my opinion. Saying that, yeah, I love myself in a in a beneficial way, not in a narcissistic way, is good, actually. So, who else would agree with this? Well, let me tell you about a couple ladies named the Wachowski sisters, and particularly Alana. So, in case you have been living under a rock, the Wachowski sisters made Sense8, and then Lana made a new Matrix move, Matrix Resurrections, that came out at the time of recording, like last year, right? And to boil it down to its essentials, they made Amor Vincit Omnia, or Love Conquers All, twice. And the first instance of it was Sense8, and I'm going to give a TLDR of what I'm going to say about it. You can skip to the time on on there, if you don't want to hear me gush about it. But basically, it's a radical celebration of queerness, a celebration of love and the power of love, and accepting yourself and others as being worthy of love, of being imperfect but still deserving of love. Now, let's get into me gushing about it a little bit. So throughout the whole series, there's this theme of love, right? You have Hernando saying, well, when exposed as being gay and having nudes of himself posted everywhere, art is love made public. And that's really ties into the show as a whole. It's a celebration. It's a piece of art, but it's also a labor of love. Because if you're a person that looked into the background of it, yeah, the crew and stuff like really like work together, and the both the text and the production really show that. It really shows that it's love being made public. And throughout the text of the show, we have stuff like, you know, various characters being saved by other characters that love them a lot, right? Have uh the drama queen Lito saving Danny from the the gangster type dude, uh because he's like, yeah, I love myself, calls himself the F slut. He's like, well, I'm taking that back from you. You can't hold that over me anymore. And then you have stuff like, you know, just the whole Iceland stuff, right? Where Riley, the character, not me, gets saved from her flashbacks and stuff because of the love between her and Will. And it's just it's just also beautiful and gay, and I love it so much. And I I wish that they had more seasons to really showcase it in. But that's okay. We still got the wonderful finale and two seasons that were very nice. Anyway, welcome back, people that didn't want to hear me gush about Sensei. Um, hi. So Matrix Resurrections is the other Love Conquers All film slash media property that the Wachowskis worked on. And I'll be the first to admit it's not the best movie ever. I've seen it 3 times. Um, which I mean I liked it, but it's not the greatest movie ever. And it's very earnest and a rejection of what the Matrix has kind of become. And the Wachowskis kind of say like, well, I don't care what you've turned it into. It's always been about the power of love and winning against the cold, unfeeling machines that don't understand this power. And it really hammers it home very like heavy-handedly, which I don't mind, but it literally outright says, yeah, Neo could not be the one on his own. It was only through his love with Trinity that he could truly be the one. And that the red pill, blue pill stuff isn't about like, oh, take the red pill and everything will be revealed. It's about making a choice to have hope that there is something to fight for. And the movie ends with, well, love conquering the machines. So that's really the message of both of these pieces of media. It's like love is powerful and love always wins above all else. All that said about the power of love and what the Wachowskis think about the power of love, but let's return a bit to queerness. And we can see that the Wachowskis also have a take on this one. And through the character of Nomi, base character, wish I was her. Um, she has this scene where she's helping Lita, where she outright says, "The real violence, the violence that I realized was unforgivable, is the violence that we do to ourselves when we're too afraid to be who we really are." And this says a lot about society. No, essentially, I take it as a message of like, sure, like labeling yourself is good and all, but at the end of the day, it's what too sometimes people are too afraid to be who they really are. And it's okay to admit that you don't know. It's okay to admit that you're still learning. It's okay to keep growing and change your label as it suits you. Because, well, at the end of the day, it feels ultimately like perfect is the enemy of good. And do we necessarily need a million and one micro labels to be considered as valid? Do we need to label every minute experience rather than focusing on what we have in common and forming communities based around, you know, showing that we're not alone, that there are other queer people that exist, and really letting people find their family rather than box ourselves into smaller and smaller boxes and do that violence unto ourselves where we're not letting ourselves be who we really are, which is messy, complicated, contradictory sometimes beings that labels can't really capture. And it's just like, why are we trying to box ourselves in? That feels like a violence we're doing to ourselves. And this isn't to say that, oh, queer people are the reason that queer people are oppressed, because like there are people that are non-queer, there are cis heterosexual people that perpetuate this, that try and put us into boxes, that try to categorize us and catalog us. But why are we doing that to ourselves? Why are we trying to, in a way, gatekeep our experiences? Why are we making it exclusive, which doesn't really help anyone? We should be focusing on what we have in common, what we share. How and who we love is just an aspect of us. What's important is that We have a love for our fellow human beings, and just being ourselves in the face of people trying to tell us to not be ourselves. Okay, it's been a bunch of discussion about love and queerness, but let's actually answer the title's question, shall we? Is it bad that love is naive? No. No, of course not. Like, believing in the power of love to save and connect us stronger than anything can pull us apart is extremely naive, but it's optimistic. It's believing that that connection, that what we have in common is stronger than our differences. And I don't want to live in a world where we shed our innocence and become jaded cynics, curled up in balls of hurt. I want to live and believe in a world where there is hope. And of course, you can't just have blind hope without putting in the effort to actually make things better, but on the other hand, you can't just give up. You have to keep fighting. And with love on our side, with just the power of love, we can keep going. And I want to believe in that, because the alternative is giving up. And that's just depressing. So, love is naive, yes, but it's not bad, because at the end of the day, amor vincit omnium.